What's up, everyone? Grayson, the Dean221 Nichols here on the Elite Rounders YouTube channel, and today is a bittersweet day of sorts. We are celebrating, or I guess honoring, the 10-year anniversary of Black Friday, possibly the biggest inflection point the poker community has ever seen. And it was a really tough day for myself and a lot of my peers. And I just wanted to do a quick video and kind of talk about it with you guys and what my experience was personally. I remember on this day 10 years ago, my best friend, who was like a protege of mine who I'd been teaching how to play, calls me up around 2 in the afternoon. I took off most Fridays usually, and I was just kind of running some errands. And he said, he asked me if I knew what was going on. He got a weird notification when he tried to log on to PokerStars and couldn't get on. I said, I wouldn't really sweat it. This stuff seems to happen often. I'm sure everything will be okay. And I couldn't have been farther from the truth, unfortunately. And so, for those who aren't fully aware of what happened, 10 years ago, the government came in and shut down all the sites. The DOJ seized Full Tilt and PokerStars. This was somewhat of a long time coming, though. Years before that, a little bit after 9/11, actually, I believe in 2006, I think, the government passed a law called the UIGEA, the Unlawful Internet Gaming Enforcement Act. And this act was predicated on the idea that terrorists could funnel money through poker sites and that we should not have these in America for that reason. So when this happened, immediately Party Poker said, you know what? We'll leave, no questions asked, but we would like to be the first ones who are allowed back in when the United States eventually regulates it and legalizes it and makes sure everything's all above board. And they did a handshake agreement, but PokerStars and Full Tilt did not agree to this. They decided they would just kind of operate with impunity. They would be in places like the Isle of Man, Isle of Gibraltar, places that were not under scrutiny of US law, and they just continued to serve us for years. And I guess things were so good that we didn't really stop to question what was going to happen, and that that essentially was a house of cards, so to speak, looking to eventually just fall at one point, right? And unfortunately, it did on that day 10 years ago. And after that, a lot of people remember some of the fallout where, we had people with tons of money stuck online. And then the news came to light soon that Full Tilt was mismanaging funds. We were hearing stories of their pros getting millions of dollars, just crazy amounts of money. And in actuality, they weren't segregating the funds. The way it should work is that all of the players, their funds should be in one account, essentially. And then operating funds for the website should be over here. Simple enough, right? I know nothing about business, and I know that makes sense. But Full Tilt wasn't doing that. It was just one big pie, essentially. And they were just giving money out to everyone because it was coming in so fast. I will also point out, a month before things hit the fan, I remember Full Tilt introduced multi-entry week, where you could enter tournaments up to 6 times, right? And they were all raked, and it felt kind of like a money grab. And I wish I had kind of seen what was coming sooner. And luckily, I didn't have a ton of money on there. I did have about $15,000 on there, which I had gotten in a big score. I got ninth place in the million on Full Tilt right before this all shut down. I was able to recover most of those funds, but it took me about 2 years. I had to go live in Toronto for about a month 2 years later just to reclaim my funds, set up a established residency up there to be able to get on my account again. So it was quite difficult, but I was able to get most of it back, not all of it. Lost all those player points, which actually were worth a few $1,000s, unfortunately. And I was one of the luckier ones because I was on quite an upswing, to be quite honest, when things hit the fan. And I was able to afford to continue my lifestyle and not have to be forced right into getting a new job, entering some arena that I knew nothing about, which would be very daunting. And I know a lot of my peers had to do that, right? If I had been on a downswing at the time, I would have had no choice. So I was very fortunate in that respect. But it was also tough, it was a job that I loved, it was a game I loved, and I felt like it was just taken away from me by the government out of the blue, right? We hear about a factory in West Virginia shutting down and 100 coal miners losing their jobs that we could argue are, not safe, not healthy, right? And about 10,000 people like me lost their jobs that were well paying and, healthier jobs from home, at the drop of a hat, and no one blinked an eye. No news company was talking about it. People weren't up in arms. So it was frustrating. I felt a little alone in that respect, and I know a lot of other poker players felt similar. And it was a tough time for a lot of us. It made me eventually get into coaching, which I do love now, and I'm very happy that I found my way to that. But it was tough. It was not a good time for the poker world, the poker community. The game became much harder afterward, naturally. A lot of my peers had to move out of the country to maintain playing. I had a lot of guys moved to Mexico. A lot of guys moved up to Canada, and it was difficult. People had to leave their families and friends behind, right? And so it was a very dark time in poker. But the poker community rallies together. There was a lot of good stories that came from it. And I think poker has bounced back in a lot of ways. The game is tough online still. PokerStars was able to reimburse everyone who lost money on Full Tilt, which was pretty awesome. They purchased Full Tilt and kind of were the saviors of the community for a while. Unfortunately, that hasn't really lasted, as PokerStars has made some dubious business decisions, I would say, over the last few years. And I think it's kind of showing in some respects. GG is coming out of nowhere and really looking to surpass them soon as the biggest site. So the ecosystem of poker online is different now, right? But live is very similar. Things are still good live. You go play in your local 1-3 game, it's still really soft. There's still a lot of action, still a lot of people who love the game. And, the World Series is still going big every year, even past Black Friday. We were worried that the influx of Saudi winners from the websites would disappear and make the turnouts much worse, but they've still been solid. So things are different in the poker community, but I'm optimistic. You see about 5 states in the US it is legal, it is regulated, and things are on the up and up there. Hopefully, at the moment, I believe they can only play against each other, intrastate, but hopefully it'll be where they can play against everyone and the other states soon enough, get back to some of the old days. So I am hopeful that we're going to get there eventually. But I just wanted to kind of share with you guys some of my thoughts and what it was like for me at the time and some of my friends, because it was it was a tough time for the poker community. And I was definitely fortunate. And, I am happy that I have found coaching from it, because I really do enjoy working with my students. And, anytime I see that light bulb moment go off for them, it feels great, something I didn't really feel when I was playing as much. I do miss playing a lot, I will say. I still get to dabble occasionally, but I do miss the grind sometimes. But I also recognize that it can be really overwhelming, and I think that I saw, health become more of a priority for people in poker after Black Friday as well. So while it was definitely a black eye on poker, the community, especially online in general, I think we've bounced back well as a whole, and there's been a lot of positives to come from it. So I'm excited to see what happens next. But I just want to come on here, do a quick video with you guys, and kind of reminisce about the darkest day in online poker from 10 years ago. Made me feel really old when I always thought in the back of my head Black Friday was 6 or 7 years ago, and then I saw that, oh, holy shit, it was 10 years ago out of nowhere, right? So a little emotional talking about it, but I just want to share this with you guys. Hope everyone has a great week. Good luck on the felt, and tune in next week for some more of the fun videos and back to analyzing hands like we always do. But best of luck, everyone. And if any of you ever went through similar experiences with Black Friday, reach out to us. Post in the comments, send me your info. I'll reach out to you, and we can chat for sure. I'm always down to listen. And that's what we are. We're a community, and we all stick together. So best of luck, everyone, this weekend, and I'll see you guys next week for some more fun videos. Take care.